What's up, nerds?
What's up,
All right. So here we go, guys. Remember, what we're focusing on this chapter is the idea of verbs called voice. All right? There's only two kinds of voice that you guys are ever going to have. It's going to be active or passive, okay? Now, what we talked about yesterday is how active sentences will have OST, must, tis, nt at the end of the verbs. So you'll know very clearly. You'll recognize those if it's an active sentence. Active sentences have the subject noun doing what? Subject noun in an active sentence does the verb. Yeah. Describes the subject noun as doing the action, as doing the verb. But a passive sentence, which are these endings, are, ris, ter, mer, many, inter. Those endings at the end of a verb tell you that your sentence has the subject noun receiving the action. So these are sentences that will not have a direct object. These are sentences that will not have a direct object. All right? So let me go back to some of the examples that I gave you guys yesterday.
Okay.
All right? So we did, I think, these first four yesterday. All right? And these are just active sentences over here on the left, as you guys can see. These are active sentences, and you can feel the active nature of them because the way the sentence is flowing is it's describing the subject noun as doing something to something. So the the friend prepares the land. The friend prepares the land. All right, let me keep going. Y'all just keep catching that vibe of the active nature of these sentences. The friend prepares the land. The sister of the boy sees the river. The athlete lives in a big house. I am telling a good story. The she-wolves hold the son of the sailors. Okay? So here we go. Listen. How would, see if anybody can do this just right off the cuff, going in dry like this. Who can turn this sentence passive for me? America, go for it.
The land is prepared by the friend.
Excellent. The land is prepared by the friend. So now, let me just go into the grammar for a second. We'll get out of it so that we can actually, do more stuff. But the grammar here is so helpful. What's the equation, the formula that I show you guys for active sentences? You have subject, noun, verb, direct object. What does the direct object become in a passive sentence? It becomes the subject noun. So you guys see that? The land is the direct object here because this perspective, remember, voice is perspective. So here we are giving the friend the voice. Here we are giving the land a voice. That's passive. So the friend is doing the verb, but to give the land a voice, we have to make sure that it is receiving the verb in the passive. All right? So this is the equation we'll have for active sentences. Here we have subject, noun, verb. Ooh, man, if anybody remembers this, I'm going to lose my mind. Ablative of agent.
Same thing. His mind is lost.
All right? It's called the ablative of agent. What'd you say?
His mind is lost.
Whose mind is lost?
Yours.
My mind?
You said you're gonna lose your mind.
Oh, sick. Thanks. Dude, you're too smart for me. I lost it. All right, so here we go.
Wait, question. I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so you know how yesterday you were like skipping with Abby and you were writing with a marker and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, that's not this kind of phrase. This kind of phrase will always have the preposition by.
No, but like how does that, what was that in relation to?
I was just showing you how versatile prepositions are. Prepositions can do a lot of stuff.
So like, do we need to know that?
Right now, all I want you to focus on is this kind of preposition. So I was kind of giving you this like broad thing. I was giving you like a big idea of prepositions are amazing. They kind of are what give life to sentences. This kind of prepositional phrase must be in passive sentences. That's what I was showing you guys. This kind of prepositional phrase called the ablative of agent must be in passive sentences. Kind of like, you see over here, Eden? In active sentences, you have to have a subject noun doing the verb, and more likely than not, you'll have a direct object receiving that verb.
But then in the passive you need the subject noun to verb to ablative.
Ablative of agent. Exactly right. It will always sound like this, Eden. By something.
They will always.
They'll always, passive sentences always have ablative of agents in them.
With the word by in it? Or
Yep, the way it translates in English will have the word by in it. Yes. Good. I'm so glad you're specifying that because this is more consistent, guys, than active sentences. Active sentences don't have to have direct objects. You could, maybe, I don't know. But like these ones, you do not have direct objects. You only have ablative of agents after the subject, noun, and verb when you translate it in English. All right. So next one, Felipe, go ahead and do, or Mia, sorry, don't lose. All right, go ahead and do the next one. Read this one again in the active. Read it again.
The sister of the boy sees the river.
Okay, now what's the direct object here?
The river.
The river is the direct object. The thing being seen. So what is it now in the passive?
The river is seen by the sister of the boy.
Very good.
Yes.
Wait,
The river
you're not good.
is seen by the sister of the boy. Remember, let me remind you guys of this. Active sentences, you just have the present tense version of the verb. You know, because we're just all in the present tense right now. But what do passive sentences do to the verb? They give you a... Remember, it was one...
Past tense version. of
Yeah,
the verb.
what's the first thing, though? They give you a
The linking verb?
helping verb.
What's the difference between a helping and a linking verb?
Linking verbs are saying that something is something. Like a noun is this. Like America is a student. There's no action. It's just saying that something is.
Okay.
Helping verbs are telling you what tense the verb is in. That's what helping verbs do.
Also,
So is present. So even though you were right, the second thing that passive sentences do is they use a past tense version of the verb.
yeah.
Is seen. But this is what keeps it present tense, is the helping verb.
In the thing you said that the passive verb was like the formation of it was subject noun verb and then ablative agent. But
Yes.
you also put OP in.
You can. That was me telling you, because this is a preposition, that technically makes friend an object of the preposition. But I want you to know that this phrase is called the ablative of agent. This is what's
Either way, it'll
described.
translate to ablative.
Yes. This is just describing. This whole phrase is describing what the land is prepared by. That's what the ablative of agent is. It's the agent by which the land is prepared.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense now.
All right, so here we go. In this sentence, I gave you guys a little bit extra just to show you how consistent it still is, no matter what else is in there. The river, subject noun, is seen, verb, by the sister, which is the ablative of agent, but look, of the boy.
No, wait. Possessive.
It's possessive. So guys, it doesn't matter what else is in the sentence, you will have an ablative of agent. You will have a subject noun, a verb, and then an ablative of agent. All right?
Could you have said like the river is being seen?
Yeah, absolutely. This one right here, the storytelling one, I'll show you that that's how it can translate. All right, who wants to do, Carly, sorry to call you out, and if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it, but try and give this one a shot for me. The athlete lives in a big house. How would that be passive? Let me give you a hint of reference once again. Whatever the direct object is must become the subject noun, and that usually helps people get started.
A bear.
You kind of did like a location sort of thing, but use the exact same verb. So the big house is lived in. Do you see that? So instead of saying is where the athlete, it's you're right. See, you're not wrong. But I'm trying to show you this voice versus this voice. So the big house is lived in by the athlete. Do you see how it's following that same trend?
But you just added D. You added
Yeah, the big house.
Oh,
The big house, is that what you mean? The big house is lived in by the athlete?
yeah.
Yeah.
You're allowed to add words.
In English, that's how, remember, English conveys meaning by more words, more words, more words. Latin will just have different endings. Yeah. That's what I'm going to show you guys today. All right? Let's keep going. Iwi. You were asking the being question, so here we go. Read this one in the active, and then tell me what it would be in the passive.
I am telling a good story. A good story is being told by me.
Is being told by me. There you go. You got it. All right, very good. Now, that's the same thing as a good story is told by me, but you are totally allowed to make it more emphatic. It's happening to a good story. A good story is being told. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Felipe.
Can I do the last one?
100%.
The son of the sailor.
Oh, read it in the active first, so we feel the active nature versus the passive nature.
The she-wolves hold the son of the sailor.
The she-wolves hold the son of the sailors.
Okay, and then the son of the sailors are held by the she-wolves.
The sons?
Oh, no, the son of the sailors are
Is held. There you go.
by the
Good. All right, so here we go. We already showed you that. We already showed you that. All right, but I'm going to stay here just for a second longer. I should have put these in boxes just to show you that these are all. All right. So these are, once again, these are examples using the verb that you guys have had a couple times. All right, but let me talk you guys through this once again. All right, the first principal part is always used. Remember, I told you guys this before. Whatever the first principal part is, if you're conjugating a verb, you just grab it, put it in the first singular spot. It's the same for passive. All right, just like you could leave it exactly the same for the active. Paro, whatever the first principal part is, you just slap it right there. All right, you do not have to change the stem at all for the first person singular. Yes, ma'am.
Why? Okay, I know I memorized it. I haven't memorized it. Why is it Ave and Aja?
These are the past and passive versions of this. This is the adjective version of a
I
verb.
just like how to learn them in a table.
Yeah. It will. This will come into play later. That's why I'm having you guys memorize them right now.
Okay.
But yeah, we're not going to learn the deeper grammar meanings of those for quite a while. All right. So you just take it easy. You just trust me with these two for a little while. Yeah. So yeah, let me go ahead and say it again because I know that everybody's kind of still getting their juices flowing for the day. When you are conjugating a verb in the present tense, either the active, OST, must, isn't, or the passive, are, rister, mer, many, inter. I haven't made y'all say that enough. Say that with me. Ready? Are, rister, mer, many, inter. Again. Are, rister, mer, many, inter. Are, rister, mer, many, inter. Are, rister, mer, many, inter. All right, those are your new endings. Just like you learned, OST, must, tis, nt. All right? And guys, these spots, the first person singular, second person singular, third person singular, those will always mean I, you, he, she, it. It doesn't matter what the endings are. If you are conjugating in the exact same order, first person singular, second person singular, third person singular, these endings, no matter what they look like, if you're conjugating them into this set of 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, they will always mean the same thing. I, you, he, she, it. Even if it's passive, they will still mean I, you, he, she, it in the active. Is that clicking with everybody?
Yes.
All right? That's why those conjugation boxes are so organized and they're so important that you do them right. All right? Never go out of order. Always go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Always. All right, because that tells you first, second, third, first, second, third. Singular column, plural column. I, you, he, she, it, we, y'all, they. I, you, he, she, it, we, y'all, they. Yes?
So you drop the macron for passive endings?
Sorry, that's me being a dingus.
Whoa. Don't call yourself that.
They're supposed to be macrons. That's me. I didn't intend it. Well, this one, does the syllable end in a T now?
No.
Nope. Remember, that was what made these not have
Oh.
macron. So these ones do not end in a T anymore, so therefore there can be a macron on all of them. All right? But do you guys see this? Hey, yeah, I guarantee you guys are going to make this mistake, and that's okay. But do you guys see this?
Yeah.
You do not change the stem. You just put this right here, and then you add an R to it. In the active, you just took it and left it. In the passive, you take it, you put an R to it. R means I in the passive.
Will you put the mic on? Rid of the mic.
Yeah, you can just get rid of the macron. I'm not worried about that macron.
Alright.
The R for me, the OR is what really tells me you know that it's first person singular passive. All right? All right, you guys are doing great. You guys are really, really doing great.
This is so annoying, but it sounds like Riz.
Yeah, I know. That's what I told them.
Riz.
I don't blame you.
Riz. Definitely Riz.
All right. You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go. These are, I just want to you do not need to write this out. You do not need to write this out. These are just examples for you guys to look at. All right. This is, once again, that conjugation that you just had earlier, right here. This is paror, pararis, parater, paramer, paramini, paranter. Go ahead and say that with me. Paror, pararis, parater, paramer, paramini, paranter. Go ahead and say it again. Paror, pararis, parater, paramer, paramini, paranter. Now, you guys are used to active sounding verbs. Listen, say your active sounding verbs with me. Ready? Paro, paras, parat. Paramus, paratus, param. Do y'all feel how different that is?
Yeah.
All right? It's so nice because in Latin, when you see a verb like this in a sentence, you will know, oh, the subject noun is doing that verb. But if they look like this, and if they sound like what you guys just said, you need to have that red flag go off in your head. Oh, my subject noun isn't doing anything. My subject noun is receiving whatever this action is. All right? It's important for you guys to start making those red flags brighter and bigger for yourself. All right? Notice the difference, but see how similar they are. Yes? Paramini. Mm-hmm.
Wait, so would it be like active? Would it be like, what was pro? Would it be like I design?
Yes, very good. So let's just translate these for a second. O means I, S means you, T means he, she, it, mus means we, tis means y'all, and N, T means they. It doesn't change. R means I, ris means you, ter means he, she, it, mer means we, many means y'all, and enter means they. You guys see how it's the same?
Yeah.
However, what America's asking is how they translate now. And that's what we're getting to today. There you go. So paro means I design or I prepare. Paras, you prepare. Parat, he, she, or it prepares. Paramus, we prepare. Paratus, y'all prepare. Parant, they prepare. Now look at my example. Paror, I am prepared. You guys see? Helping verb, past tense version. That's how we do it in the English. Pararis, you are prepared. Helping verb, past tense in the English.
So I see you, I've seen you.
Parater, he, she, or it is prepared. Do y'all feel the nature of they're not doing anything anymore? It's happening to them. Are we Gucci? Or are we losing our minds? I understand.
Gucci gang.
All right, now listen.
What's the
I am prepared by my servants. I am prepared for the dinner by my servants.
Instead of I prepare.
Yep.
So
You are prepared for the quiz by the teacher.
then the teacher would be like
Ablative of agent. Yep. By the whatever is the ablative of agent. But the subject noun in a passive sentence is not doing the verb. It's happening to them by the ablative of agent. Okay? All right, let me keep going. Don't lose me here. I know that this is new, so obviously when you guys pick up a heavier weight for the first time, it's going to strain you a little bit. But guys, every time you continue to hold that weight, you're just going to get stronger. I know it feels awful sometimes, but keep on trying. All right? Mer means we, but it's passive. So instead of we prepare, paramus, now it's we are prepared. Helping verb, past tense version. Paramini. Instead of paratis, y'all prepare. Paramini is you are prepared. Helping verb, past tense version. Paranter, they are prepared. Helping verb, past tense version. That's how we do it in the English. All right? Now I have a first conjugation present passive up here. And that's what I've highlighted for you. First conjugation has a with a macron, right? Right?
yeah.
All right? So I'm showing you that that's what it looks like. But here's a second conjugation verb. The only thing that's different is the only difference between first and second conjugation. It's the stem vowel. Remember, first conjugation takes a, yay. Second conjugation takes e, we. All right? All right? So you guys see this right here. It's the same exact thing. The only thing that's changed, though, is that there's an e. All right? Everything else is still the same. The way you translate and everything like that is still the same. Instead of teneo, I hold, now it's teneor, I am held. Teneris, instead of tenes, which is you hold, now it's teneris, you are held. Now instead of the subject noun doing the verb with the active endings ost, must, sunt, now it's receiving the action. Teneris, you are held. Teneter, she is held. Tenemer, we are held. Instead of we hold. That's active. Passive is it's happening to the subject noun. We are held by something, the ablative of agent. All right, guys, so here we go. We're going to do some practice now. All right? Now, this is very important. This is very important. You can use your notes. All right, but do not help one another. Do not help one another. All right? All right? write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Write down all of these. All right? Make sure you write them down first. All right? Don't try and do number 1 and then go do number 2. Write down Wident, write down Wolcott, write down Eubamus, write them all down. All right? This is your homework. This is your homework. I want you to make sure you have this written down so that you know where to find it. All right, and I'm going to do number 1 with you. But make sure that these are all written down. Make sure that these are all written down. All right, guys, so here's number 1. This is all we're doing here. All right, does everybody have number 1 written down? All right, you got the other ones at least close to getting them all written down?
We're just writing like the.
Yeah, I just want you, this is all the active. These are the active versions of verbs that you guys can learn how to translate pretty quickly because you've all learned how to do this. All right, and what I want you guys to do is just draw a dash right next to it and then write down the person and number. All right, so NT. What's the person and number? That ending.
Third plural.
Third person plural. All right, now what I want you guys to do is I want you to take this verb and just change it from the active into the passive. So Kamari, what are you going to do here? To take this verb, Wident, and make it third person plural passive. What's it going to look like?
Widenter.
There you go. Now it's passive. Now, this is interesting. This is interesting. I'm glad we're starting with this verb. All right? What does widera, the infinitive, mean? Widera means to see. But in the passive, it can translate 2 different ways. In the passive, it can translate 2 different ways. Now, Kamari, go ahead. You're on a roll here. So translate widenter for me. Who's the person still?
He, here.
Not he, she, it. That would be T. This is NT or inter. So instead of it being singular, it's going to be they. So they is the person. So how would you, instead of saying wident, what would wident translate to? Kamari? Wident is they see. They're active. That's an active ending. So they see. But if it's happening to them, now it's they. There you go. So this is a possible way to translate widera in the passive. Does anybody know what else you could translate this to? I'd be so impressed. It's very common in the Latin, so that's why I'm glad we're doing it first. This verb is used in passive a lot because it can also mean this. They seem. They seem. Yes, you should. Because I want you guys to know that this verb is used in the passive a lot to talk about how something seems. Now, in the active, it just means to see. But this in the passive can mean they are seen, but they can also mean they seem. All right, so that's a very important one to do. All right, but do you guys see that this is the goal?
Yeah.
All right, parse it, then rewrite it in the Latin, in the passive, and then translate it the way that it is in the passive. All right, and I'll post this so that you can go back and look at it if you need to. I also have a meme for you guys really quick. I want to make sure I show you guys that. I have a very important meme for you all.
Wait, Mr. Yuri, have you listened to The Wall? By Pink Floyd?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Because you were talking about how
That's cool though.
good.
Oh my gosh, I love
Will you have a cardboard
Oh,
cutout
yeah.
in your house?
It scares us every time.
It's so funny.
This is important because I laughed so hard when I saw this.
Oh my gosh, that's true. That's actually real. I need to
I saw this and I was like, y'all, huh?
me and
I was like, tis.
Tis, yeah.
Just kidding, that's not actually the word for y'all. Word for y'all is wos.
What?
Wos.
Oh.
Bye guys. Actually,
That was crazy, man.
I have pictures from 2 years ago that I still have my phone because I never looked at it.
So excited for my mythology class right now, dude. It's about to be so sick.
Yes, Dave.
Bye, guys. Good job.